So should you get a Gamo Varmint? I don't know. But if you're watching this video really quick because you're trying to make a decision, I'd honestly say yes. Let me get into why. This video is also going to serve as the 1,000 pellet review. It's actually over 1,000 of this rifle. I got it a year and 3 months ago. I got it in January of 2020. Yeah, January 2020. And it served me very well. I've torture tested it, and I've put a ton of pellets through it, as I said, and it's held up. So, already stated, I would recommend getting it. It is very good, and it's a great rifle for the price. Literally, it is $90 at Bass Pro, and you can get it on sale for $80, $70 even, I bet. So, you're in it. I say that's good, but you could probably get better options for $120. So take that with a grain of salt. This isn't the greatest, but it gets the job done. I'm taking squirrels with it. I'm planning on taking chipmunks with it this spring/summer. But for the most part, this rifle has held up phenomenally over the time that I've had it. I had it for a long time, obviously, and then a couple weeks ago I said, all right, I'm going to start torture testing it. I want to see if it's really going to hold up. So I literally painted it. I just taped off the scope and just painted it. I got paint everywhere on it just for gigs, and it's a crappy paint scheme, but it gives the rifle some character. I took out the action to inspect it, and everything was working phenomenally as it should. The trigger has never, it's actually felt better the more I've shot it. It's wore in more. The stock scope it comes with leaves a lot to be desired. It's one of the cheap Chinese, pretty sure it's 4 power, 4 by 40 mil. But that's just, it's just what you're going to get at this price point. It kicks out a 5-grain pellet, PBA Platinum Gamo calls it, at 1,250 feet per second. My pellets of choice are Crosman Premier 7.5 grain pellets, hollow points, and then these 7.9 grain hollow points, which are also Crosman Premiers. But I stopped running them because these are better for hunting and for overall accuracy. However, long-range groupings tend to be better with these, surprisingly. That is pretty crazy. Groupings with these can be all over the place, but the first shot accuracy is there. And in a hunting scenario, that's literally all I'm looking for. May I mention this is hunting in a backyard. These are low-power pellets. I think, assuming this 10.5 grain pellet is running about 850 feet per second, it's hitting anywhere from 14 to 17 foot-pounds of energy. For all you all who don't know, a 22 LR kicks about 40, I think. So it's a decently powered rifle. I literally went off what I said, telling you all about the torture testing, a bit of it, but it's whatever. So, I want to answer questions that some people have, or concerns. If you mount the scope right, it will never hop around. Your accuracy will never jump around solely due to the scope. It's always going to be in the rifle, in your barrel, and in the shooter. There's absolutely no correlation between scope knock or recoil affecting the scope because this rifle obviously doesn't kick hard. But the issue a lot of people run into with the Springer air gun, which is what this is you have your recoil, which is going to be 17 foot-pounds of recoil going back. But also going forward, you have the spring that is compressed to originally compress the air. Or not compress the air, but go back. End up having to go forward to push that pellet out through the force of air. So, you essentially have conflicting forces, and usually they would just cancel each other out. But in an air gun, it kind of can mess with things, I guess. That it has happened, but it never happened on this. Maybe I got a good one. I don't know. But the rifle's held its accuracy over the course of the time I've had it. It's not necessarily the most accurate. As a matter of fact, I went out there, shot a 30-yard group on the goldfish box, and I got about a 3.5-inch group with the 10.5 crossbin premieres. It's not terrible at 30 yards for a $90 gun, right? Just be honest. .177 caliber. I probably didn't even say that. 4.5 mils. But once it's sighted in, it's not bad. And then, as I stated, the scope, in theory, shouldn't knock around. It never did for me. Maybe that's because I mounted the scope right. Some people haven't. I don't know. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, the trigger. As I said, it got smoother the more I shot it. I actually just gave it a squirt of WD-40 a couple months ago, and it kept it going just fine. I mean, it is, for a $90 air rifle, stupidly smooth. Smooth as butter. Now, obviously, it doesn't compare to an actual, let's say, Geisley trigger for a real firearm, but it's pretty good for a $90 air rifle. What else? I don't know how much force it takes to cock it. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's in the 30 foot-pound range. I think it is in the 30 foot-pound range because the Gamo Varmint Hunter is in the 40-pound range. This rifle is excelled just backyard plinking and backyard hunting, for lack of a better word. The scope has not that much eye relief, but cheap scope, obviously. Now let's get to the meat and taters of this rifle. What happens right here and in the barrel? Pretty sure it's 16.5-inch barrel. It produces relatively decent accuracy. Nothing to jump for joy over. But for $90, that's one of the phrases I'm going to say a ton in this video is for $90. The barrel, I don't know what twist it is exactly, but it does seem to run shorter pellets better. As crazy as that sounds for it being literally only an air rifle. But it does, like the 7.9 grain pellets, like I said, they do hold a much better grouping. And they are considerably shorter than a 10.5 grain pellet. May I just say this too, the 5 grain pellets suck. Don't run them in any air gun. That's just advice. But the barrel, as it pertains to accuracy, is held on essentially through, what do you want to call this? A pin, for lack of a better word. It's held on by a pin. And it's held by friction where right next to the breech, it's just held there by friction. And then it's held in by a pin, like I said, and that's what allows it to rotate when cocking it. Do that. That leads me into my next point that I've dropped it a million times, and it keeps on hammering. Let's see. I think I sat it on top of this one little tree I climb into and take squirrels out of, and it literally fell. And it's not even like it dented the barrel, but what happened was the alignment of the barrel, instead of being straight as it should be, was then veering left. But it was still hammering. Still phenomenal accuracy for a $90 rifle. That is crazy. I did have sighting in issues with the scope a while ago. But I say it does decent now once you get it sighted in. I talked about the barrel. Obviously the breech, if you want to look at it. May I do this? Over here, it's going to be hard to do one-handed. Alright, here's your breech. I actually have a pellet loaded in there. I would always keep a pellet loaded in there. Not cocked, though. I would just simply crack open the breech, shove a pellet in there, so if you see a starling outside, all of a sudden, literally all I have to do is cock and you got one in the chamber ready to go. What else was I going to hit on? Let's see. Reticle, I don't know if you all are going to be able to see this. We'll see. Oh, yeah, look. Just a simple duplex reticle, and the scope's literally dirty. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, just normal duplex, 4 power. adjustable well, not eye relief, but adjustable, whatever you want to call this, how far back and forward the scope can go in regards to your first lens. Geez, what was I going to say? I don't know. It's a very good question. Oh, in terms of it dieseling, because that happens to a lot of springers, it's dieseled a couple of times, definitely. And on its own, too. The first time I ever shot it, which that would be the main time it diesels, it dieseled, and what that is grease or oil from the inside of the air gun or gas system burning up and combusting during shooting due to the compression of the air, forcing the pellet down the barrel. And even for gigs, one time, I did escort a WD-40 down the barrel. And I think I sent a 10.5 grain pellet going way over supersonic because the crack was decently loud in comparison to just a normal 22 crack. So it can diesel, but it's $90. So your quality control coming out of the factory to make sure it doesn't diesel isn't going to be phenomenal. How I've cleaned the barrel's been very durable, and literally all I've ever done to clean the barrel is squirt down a cleaner of some sort, solvent, or, oh, there is a crow. Well, I'm making a review. I'd squirt down a solvent, or in the worst case, brake cleaner, and then WD-40 after it once I wipe the solvent out, and then I wipe that down, chuck a pellet in there, shoot it, boom, it's good to go again. But like I said, 30-yard group was 3.5 inches, so it's about what you're going to get for a $90 rifle. So realistically, I'd recommend getting it. It is very nice. Still, for what it is, $90. It's held up to torture tests. I've dry fired it about 20 times just for the sake of this. And it still holds up, still holds the same power output. So it holds up. I mean, it is rugged. I've left it out. Well, I haven't left it out in the rain, but I've left it out in humid conditions. It's held up just fine. Very minimal rust on the barrel. So that's what I have to say about the Gamo Varmint chambered in 177. I think it is very good as an air gun. Now, to be fair, you can get higher quality air guns for literally $30 more, or you can go to a pawn shop and buy any single lever 22, bolt 22 for probably the same cost as $150 Gamo, but this is $90, and it's cheap, and you can get away with shooting it in a backyard. This thing is somewhat loud in comparison to a lot of other air guns. It's not whisper quiet, but it's good enough. And that's my consensus on it. That's how I would sum it up, is it is quite frankly good enough. If you like this, subscribe. It was kind of crap. This is my first video, so hopefully it helped somebody. If it helped you, I guess like it. If you think it was a terrible video, give it a dislike. I want to know that. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully this helped. Bluegrass bassing. See y'all.